Konami has officially released the newest ban list, and today we're going to be talking about it. Yesterday at YCS Houston, Konami had a big event thing over their live stream, so instead of bringing that with a briefcase, they had a pre-edited video talking about the new cards on the ban list. And this is actually a really good list, I feel like. Is it the best list in the world? No, there's still a lot of problem cards that are still available to the game as of right now. But it does keep a lot of the meta decks in check, as well as getting rid or very severely hurting some of these problem cards that we've had in the game thus far. So let's first talk about the Unlimiteds. I believe this is the shortest list outside of the Forbidden list. Newly unlimited cards are Cyberjar, Danger Jackalope, and Danger Tsuchinoko, Ava, and Perform Pal Monkey Board. Now, Perform Pal Monkey Board, this is exciting to all three Pendulum players. I'm sure they are very, very happy that this card is off the ban list, completely unlimited. That way they can perform pendulums to their little heart's desires. Cyberjar being unlimited makes a lot of sense. This card is very, very powerful, but very, very slow. It has to be flipped face up. You could theoretically make a jar deck with this now, with some of the other cards we'll be talking about, but Cyberjar is just too slow for its effect. It's a giant effect. If it was a on-summon effect, this card would still be banned. But it's not an on-summon effect. It is a flip effect, and it takes up your normal summon. In a lot of cases, you need that normal summon to get bigger and better things on the board. And even then, you could still theoretically go into other board breakers without ever using your normal summon. So it makes sense that Cyberjar is off the ban list. Jackalope and Tsuchinoko should have come off the ban list about a format ago. They really should have. Not a lot of people are playing the Dangers anymore, except for like very niche rogue decks. They served their purpose. They've served their time, and it's now time for them to come back. They're not as powerful as they used to be. Ava can come back so long as none of these yugioh cards come back, specifically yugioh and Kaleback. So long as those cards are on the ban list, Ava can come back, because Malice uses dark monsters, and the Fiendsmith cards, they use light fiends. So nothing's using Light Fairy that's currently meta relevant at the moment. Even Tearlaments are dark, I believe. So as long as these yugioh cards stay off the ban, or stay on the ban list, don't come off, stay on the ban list, Ava can come back. Moving on to the semi-limited. This is the biggest list. It almost took up like 2 pages. Like, they would either have to make everything super small or have, I think for the first time, 2 images for 1 new change to the list. So first off, we're gonna go over some of the ones moving from limited to semi-limited. We're gonna talk about Black Dragon Collapse Serpent and White Dragon Wyvern Burst. I think these two can come back. There's gonna be some funky Dragon Link builds with these two guys coming back. We're also gonna have maybe some weird Malice things involving these guys, but I think where the meta is right now, these guys can come back. We might see a few Chaos Rogue decks pop up here and there, depending on what it does. We might see like Chaos Blue Eyes get into the mix here, but other than that, I don't think these guys are gonna be doing much. Unchained Soul Shavara. This is going to be giving Unchained Yubel some life back into the format. I don't think Yubel is going to come back specifically. Like, I don't think it's going to come back as full force as it was. And I don't know if you guys can hear, but KK agrees with me on that. But having Unchained Soul Shavara brings back the Unchained engine, not to its full power, but it gives it that much of a bigger boost. So that way, cards like Yubel have a chance in this meta. And the final change is Morphing Jar. Morphing Jar kind of falls into the same line as Cyberjar, where very powerful effect, very slow though. So I think that we're in a stage where probably by the next ban list, in the next 3 to 6 months, we're probably going to see Morphing Jar at 3. We will probably see Morphing Jar at 3. It'll be very strong for Dark World decks, extremely strong for Dark World decks, but it's just too slow. I don't think that it's going to be seeing much, if any, play. Finally, moving on to the brand new cards. These are cards that have never been touched on any sort of part of the ban list. We have X Ryzeal, Ice Ryzeal, and Sword Ryzeal. These are all consistency hits to the Ryzeal deck. All these cards were mandatory 3-ups. All of them that I just named off. So now you can only run 2. You go from having 9 starters to 6. And even then, it's more starters than that, really. But the main ones that you want, you don't have as many. So it is a huge consistency hit to the hit of Ryzeal. The next ones are Malice P. Dormouse, Malice P. White Rabbit, and Malice Underground. Again, just big consistency hits to Malice. It's just a consistency hit to keep the deck in check. We're about to get some new Code Talker support that Malice is going to utilize and take huge advantage of. It's going to be insane. So, but preemptive limit or semi-limit before those cards come out is very much needed. Finally, I missed 2 cards up here on the list, and these are actually big ones. I don't know how I missed these. Snake Eye Ash and Snake Eye Poplar back to 2. Now, do I think Snake Eye is going to come back in full force like it used to be? I don't think so, because Baron is still banned, Borreload is still banned, Linkuriboh is still banned. So these cards coming back are not going to come back as often as you think it would. It would not come back in full force, especially since I think it's Sinful Spoils, or the original Sinful Spoils is banned. So the fact that these cards are coming back, it's going to make the deck come back as a small resurgence, maybe with like a Snake Eye Fire King build or Snake Eye White Forest type of build. Like just because it's more consistent now. But the fact that these guys are coming back to 2 is actually really big for Snake Eye, especially since Snake Eye is a lot cheaper than what it used to be. Snake Eye used to be like $1,000 to play, and now that it's now that these guys are back and they're dirt cheap, anybody can just pick up the deck and you're ready to go. Next to the limited list, I have a lot of thoughts on the limited list, almost as much as I have on the ban list. The first one is Bestial Druisworm. If it were me, I would have left Druisworm alone, but banned Magnamut. But Druisworm being at 1 makes sense. It is arguably the better one, I would say. Magnamut is still really, really strong because it allows you that guaranteed search unless your opponent ashes it during the end phase. But but for Druisworm, Druisworm is just removal. If it goes to the graveyard at any point, it doesn't matter what for, from field to grave, it's just great removal. So I can see that being hit. Dimension Shifter. Rest in piss. Fuck this card. I hate this card. I hate this card. I hate the fact that this card for so many decks is just a turnoff. It turns off the deck. It keeps you from doing what you need to do. Some decks can play around it but not get as big of a board. A lot of decks die to it, and there's very few decks that utilize Shifter and can just be like, I don't care. Malice being one of them. So fuck this card. Get it out of my fucking format. The next card is Masterpiece, the true Draco Slaying King. This card was a problem back in the day. I left the format, I left the game entirely around this format, so I never got to experience the absolute devastation that was Masterpiece. I might make a Masterpiece deck now that it's off the ban list, but I think we're going to see a small rise in this card coming back like we did with Thunder Dragon Colossus, in the sense of this insanely broken card is brought back, people are going to play it, but I truly don't think that it's going to make as big of a splash in the meta as people think. If you guys don't know what Masterpiece, the Draco Slaying King does, I'm going to read the card verbatim for you. This tribute summon this card face up, you can tribute continuous spell / trap cards you control as well as monsters. Unaffected by effects of cards with the same card type, whether that be monster, spell, or trap, as the card type of the cards tributed for this tribute summon. Once per turn during either player's turn, if you control this tribute summon monster, you can banish 1 continuous spell trap card from your graveyard, then target 1 other card on the field and destroy it. If you want to know my honest thoughts about that, I think that the deck that's going to utilize this the most is going to be Odeon. Now, why do I say that? Well, trap removal is a big form of removal in the game, and trap negation is a big part of the thing in the game, such as Amphibios, I think that's what it's called, the snake thing from Odeon. You have Masterpiece, which is a non-target destroy, so that it protects it from Majesty. Then you can banish a continuous spell or trap from your graveyard, target 1 other card on the field, and destroy it. So you're able to banish 1 of your continuous traps from Odeon and destroy 1 card on the field. But again, I think this card outside of Odeon, a little too slow. Just a little smidgen too slow. I think the payoff to where if you can theoretically tribute a spell and a trap is huge for this deck, especially with Yugioh Cross being a thing right now. You activate its effect to destroy. Yugioh Cross can't negate it because it's unaffected by spell cards. But the fact of the matter is, you have to be able to get this thing out. You have to be able to get that to your hand. It's a worm, so theoretically, Sword Soul could take care of this thing. But it's one of those things where, yes, Sword Soul can do it, but what's it doing for Sword Soul? You know what I mean? So I truly think that this card coming back isn't going to be as huge as it's going to be, or as a lot of people think it's going to be. I think we're going to see a resurgence at locals because it's back, and people are going to be testing the card out and see what they can do with it. But overall, it's not going to be nearly as broken as people think. I hate to be that guy, and I will eat crow if I am wrong. I just truly do not think this card's going to be as bad as people think. Next up, we have Mathmech Circular. This card is now newly limited. I believe it was banned before. This card, if you don't know what it does, you can send one Mathmech monster except Circular from your deck to your graveyard. Special summon this card from your hand. Also, you can only attack with one monster for the rest of this turn. If a Mathmech monster is normal or special summoned to your field while you control this monster, except during damage step, you can add one Mathmech spell shop from your deck to your hand. You can only use each effect Mathmech Circular once per turn. Now, this is a huge boost for Mathmechs in general, but when's the last time you saw Mathmechs? And again, I was out of the loop when this deck was like prominent and this card got banned, so I don't know if Mathmechs stopped being played because this card got banned. But what I can tell you is that the deck that I think is going to take advantage of this the most is going to be Malice, because they're going to use this card as a way to get free material out because it's a light Cyberse monster. So that way they can turbo out into Axis Code Talker once the new support, or the other Code Talker that's coming out once the new support drops. The next one, yugioh Detonator. Fuck this card. Fuck this card. This card, it's not broken enough to where it needs to be banned, but it definitely needs to be limited because it's one of the few limited extra deck monsters that makes sense. It is one of the few that genuinely makes sense because people run 2 detonators. So that way they can get that recursion with it. They can cheat out the other one, and they're just able. There's so much that 2 detonators can do. It's non once per turn pop. He's able to stack. I think people are able to get 6 materials on it, so they can just detach. It has the pop effect and the protection effect, so it's able to remove a material from it. So that way they can protect it, and I think it protects all Xyz monsters. That would be insane if it does. I can't remember off the top of my head which one, and it's just material that yugioh Crossing is able to use, so that way it can be the on resolution negate that it is. So having 1 detonator instead of 2 is a huge check for yugioh, and it needed to happen. Bonfire at 1 makes sense. They want you to use 7th Tachyon, the new card, out. So you would run 1 Bonfire, 3 7th Tachyon, instead of the 3 Bonfire and just no 7th Tachyon, because 7th Tachyon is a -2, Bonfire is a +1, but it's or as a neutral card, you use it and then you add 1. But it makes sense. It makes sense that they would want to do that. So limiting Bonfire, it limits yugioh by a lot. It limits, unironically, the new Snake Eye cards coming back, the Ash and the Poplar, it actually keeps them in check too, because now instead of having the 5 searchers that you would 3 Bonfire, or not 5, you would have the 2, 4, 9 starters having Bonfire, Ash, and Poplar. Now you have 5. That being 2 Ash, 2 Poplar, 1 Bonfire. So it kind of keeps Snake Eye in check too, if we're all being honest here. Brilliant Fusion. This card makes sense. The new Gem Knight support is about to come out, so they need to be able to get a way to fuse. Brilliant Fusion is that card. Are people going to be bringing back the OTK? They're probably going to try. Again, I sound like a broken record here, but I quit Yu-Gi-Oh back in 2014, and I never played locals until 2020. So I was not anywhere in the loop whenever the Brilliant Fusion OTK came into play. So are people going to try to attempt the OTK? They probably are. I think we have the materials and the tools now to kind of stop the FTK from happening. But if you don't draw the out, you just don't start with the out. But Brilliant Fusion come back to 1. I think they're testing the waters. They might stay at 1 for a while, but I'm willing to bet by next ban list we'll be able to play 2 of them. Cross out Designator. Yes, please. Yes, please. It's a bittersweet hit for me, because on one hand, Designator is a card that says, hey, this card I'm planning to keep you in check. You just stopped it. It is a fuck you card. It is a I ash your shit. I happen to top deck the 1 of 2 cards that can stop your Ash Blossom, and it turns it off for the next 2 turns. So no, fuck cross out Designator. But the other hand, it's a I had this one thing I can do. If it stopped, I'm screwed. Cross out. Now or they try to, I play it. They play Ash. I cross out their Ash. So now the one thing that I have that allows me to stay into the game works. But I feel like the ends does not justify the means. Cross out detonator being limited. We still have Call by the Grave. So we technically have 2 Call by the Graves now. Just one of them is more powerful than the other one because Call by the Grave is not once per turn. So Crossout Designator being at 1 is a good hit. And the final one for the limited is Triple Tactics Talents. It is a good hit, but most people run 3 thrust, 1 talent anyway. But the reason that talent is so good is because it's 3 banned cards rolled into 1. It's a Pot of Greed. It's a Snatch Steal. Snatch Steal, granted, got off the ban list, but it still was on the ban list. And it is a reveal hand, shuffle 1 back. That is insanely broken for 1 card. So the fact that it's limited makes sense, because again, it's one of those cards that if you get ashed, I can now draw 2. Or, oh, you used 3 hand traps against me, let me see your hand. Oh, you got this giant boss monster and used its negate, let me take that. Now I get the big fucker with the negate because I didn't use its effect this turn, you fucking did. Do I think this is gonna have ramifications in the long run? Not really. Like I said, a lot of decks run 3 thrust, 1 talent anyway, but I still think that talents being hit from 3 to 1 is a really good hit, because good God almighty, like the decks that can play 3 thrust, 3 talent, or even 3 thrust and 2 talent are scary, dog. And finally, the ban list. This is the most important list, bar none. First one is Nightmare Griffin. I hear some people saying that they've banned the wrong card. They shouldn't have banned Griffin. I do not want to sit there and get Griffin locked. I do not. It's not fun. Get that shit out of here. Link Decoder. Huge consistency hit from Malice. It's just a problem card with Malice being the format right now, so get Link Dakota out of here. Abyss Dweller. First off, RIP to generic rank 4 decks that aren't Ryzeal and aren't Malice and aren't Mermail, because those 3 decks is what got this card banned, especially the Mermail. Because Mermail with Abyss Dweller, you overlay 2 into Abyss Dweller You overlay 2 into Abyss Dweller, and you can use an Abyss Dweller during your opponent's turn to send 1 material to the graveyard to keep them activating graveyard effects, and then you activate Dragoon, ripping their hand for 3. It was insane. Or in Ryzeal's case, they can end on Detonator, Dual Drive, Abyss Dweller, now your graveyard effects are turned off. So the Ryzeal matchup, mirror match is gone, Fiendsmith is gone, you have Blue Eyes is gone. Like, all these things just stack up on top of each other. And then it's just a floodgate. It is a massive, unfun floodgate that just needed to go. And the last ban is Bahamut Shark. Bahamut Shark leads into Toad. Some people would argue that Toad should be banned outside of Shark, but Shark allows you to go into Toad anyway with just any rank 4 deck. Obviously not any rank 4 deck, that's an over-exaggeration, but now that Ryzeal, the Jesse Cotton Ryzeal Shark build, that was able to go to Abyss Dweller and Bahamut Shark because they're water monsters. So it ends on a Detonator. You're able to end on a Detonator, a Dual Drive, Fiendsmith if you're playing Fiendsmith with it, as well as a totally awesome Omni Negate. So that need to get out of here because of that. Mermail is able to go into Bahamut Shark pick Dragoon, and then make an Omni Negate before Dragoon effect to whip your hand for 3. So even if you try to say call by Dragoon, Toad negate the call by. Also, let me have that call by, because you might have Ash, and I want to be able to live. So it makes sense that Bahamut Shark is dead and gone. It also allows Toad to stay for the rank 2 decks like Sprite to be able to play. I know it's wild, and in Yu-Gi-Oh! We're defending Sprite when people thought whenever they first came out they're going to be a tier 1 format, but Elf is gone, so theoretically, yeah, you could just run Sprite and just do rank 2 plays with Totally Awesome, or just have your fun little, Mimi frog deck and run Totally Awesome that way. But that is going to be the ban list. I think overall, there are a few cards I would like to see on here. I'd like to see D-Barrier on here. I would like to see Ryzeal Crossband, because that card is like what makes Ryzeal unfun. There's a few cards I can think of off the top of my head, but overall, what do you guys think of the ban list? Do you guys think it's a good list? Do you guys think it's a ban list? Do you guys think that my points were made very clearly? Do you guys think that I don't know what I'm talking about? Let me know in the comments down below. And with that, I'm gonna get back here. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button. Come on, take the video. Make sure to subscribe button. Helps me as a whole. I'll see you guys in the next video. See ya.
Tight bars, little man.